Welcome. In the continuation to the Laws of Power written by Robert Greene, we come to the second one. Never put too much trust in friends. Robert Greene says that we as human beings overlook our friends' true character due to our fondness for them. We overestimate their allegiance and favor towards us. We forget that they are prone to jealousy and seem to justify any good favor done upon them rather than considering it in a more positive sense. Whereas the enemy, once given a pardon and a chance to rectify their mistake, may go beyond expectation to repay the favor, and they mostly do. The sense of humility of the forgiver and the unexpectedness takes them and makes them turn over a new leaf. As is stated, to have a good enemy, choose a friend. He knows where to strike. And Louis XIV also once said, "Every time I bestow a vacant office, I make 100 discontented persons and one ingrate." Trusting a friend, we can see in the story of Michael III. When he assumed the throne, he had a choice to either choose Bardas or a friend Basilius as his closest advisor. He chose his friend Basilius. Rather than choosing a person who was more qualified, he chose a friend. He thought that the friend would be more careful and more prone towards siding with the king, his friend. But time and time again it proved that Basilius was more into gaining the king's favor for himself and not helping the king, whereas Bardas was trying to make sure that the kingdom survived. The inability of the king to see his friend's enmity and clear transgressions towards his commands became a cause for his downfall. In the end, it was his friend who overthrew him and became the king. On making your enemies your friends or giving them a chance, we can see the example of General Zhao Qinang when he became the emperor of China. He gave them all of his lieutenants and his generals a choice, either to become nobles or to continue fighting in the army. He knew that these generals he was giving a choice to were going to be his main rivals if they continued in the army, and they might strike in a few days and months as the same thing had been going for many years. But at the offer, the generals thought that they would get more peace and stability rather than infighting and overthrowing each other. The generals accepted, and the king's generosity made them even more closer to the king and more faithful towards the king. Similarly, General Zhao Qinang faced a very stern opposition from King Lu of Southern Han. When he surrendered, King Lu thought that he would be beheaded or thrown into jail or be subjected to torture of all kinds. But rather than that, the king forgave him. Shocked by King's actions, he became a close friend and advisor of the king and always had a very prominent and respectful position in the king's court. As Tacitus once said, men are more ready to repay an injury than a benefit because a gratitude is a burden and revenge a pleasure.